Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome back to the tavern. We got a really cool character we're working on today. Excited for this. And even better, we have the requester in the chat today. Everyone say hello to Jack, and a big thank you, because not only do they support me on Patreon, they also bought a prairie ticket, which is awesome. Oh, Mean Cat's here. It's been a hot minute. Yeah, hello to everyone. We've got Jack, Paint, Duke, Otaka, and Mean Cat. Welcome in, welcome in. I'm very excited for this. Jack, I don't know if you're at work right now, or school, right? School. It's school time. It's October. Midterms, huh? Anyway, if you are happy to tell the chat a little bit about your character, I would also love that. I'm very curious to know what class she is. By looking at her, I'm assuming she's a fighter, but I always like to know more details and stuff. So yeah, anything that you'd want to share, we'd love that. I'm very excited for this. We're going to be focusing on all of her armor and weapons, and we'll just see how far we get. Below me, I have a little list of things I kind of plan to work on roughly in the order I plan to work on them. So some really cool pieces here. And I like how different they are from side to side as well. She's got some sort of mimic nonsense going on with this open gut and multiple sets of eyes. There is a story here, that's for sure. She's also got these shackles on almost most of her limbs. Almost makes me think like an experiment gone wrong or something. I don't know, she looks friendly. She looks like she'd be fun at parties. Alrighty, well, without further ado, I'm gonna start sculpting, start working on this. Let's get going. I'm gonna keep this beautiful art that Jack commissioned up the whole time. Is it gonna get smaller or is it gonna fight me? There we go. I'll keep this as big as I can. Oh, I wonder if we can crop this at all. Not really. We'll just scoot it over here. All right. The first thing that I'm going to work on is this beautiful gold breastplate. Let me grab my mask lasso brush for that. And then as I create all of these pieces, I'll be sharing them with my students after the stream, like usual. It's been so much fun to see what my students create from these and kind of make their own interpretations as well. I'm going to create the breastplate and the collar as separate pieces. I think that'll give me a little bit more flexibility. Let's refine this shape here a bit using my mask pen brush. Ooh, this actually does need to connect all the way up, kind of like a little metal shirt. And then we'll put these really large seams on the side, you know, so she can like take it on and off. I'm also really curious to see how stable ZBrush is today. I was doing a little bit of work before the stream started, and we kind of hit like critical failure with ZBrush. And for the most part, if ZBrush is crashing on you, you're probably doing an operation you shouldn't be doing, or you're like, I don't know, like it's trying to compute and you're like clicking it a million times. Like most of the time when there's a ZBrush crash, I can be like, oh yeah, I was part of that problem. However, before my stream started, I mean, it was pretty bad. I would like think a mean thought and it would crash. And I can't limit what I'm thinking. So I was like, I need to look into this. Sure enough, my drivers are pretty outdated. Apple recently had a new update go out and it made the old versions of ZBrush, I have 2022, quite unstable, which is terrible news for me because I am a cheapskate and I do not want to buy the new version of ZBrush. Shit's expensive. It's like 40 bucks a month. And I paid $800 once in like 2022, my version number. So I was really concerned that I was going to have to like fork over money, but also I understand this is my business. It's not the end of the world if I have a $40 a month business expense, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. Anyway, I uninstalled all of my drivers, did a fresh wipe, that kind of stuff, or wipe and then fresh reinstall. and I think it's going to be a little bit happier. Something that is kind of nice, I know everyone has mixed feelings about AI. One thing AI is really good at is reading crash logs. So it was nice. I had this like 10,000 lines of code and I copied it, I threw it at ChatGPT, and I'm like, what the fuck does this mean? And it was able to break down like where things are going wrong. And for the most part, it's multi-input. So a lot of this runs through something called Rosetta, and it interprets the pressure sensitivity. It's not like natively running here. It's being passed through something. Unlike in Windows, I think it's more one-to-one. Anyway, regardless, I was like, even chat was like, you need to buy a new version of ZBrush. And I was like, no, I don't. So yes. But it's all gonna work out. Oh, there's Jack again. Hello. Yeah, at college right now. So this stream is muted for like 10 minutes or so. I want to hear the process of these sculpts. I find it really cool. Oh, cool. And yeah, no worry at all. When I know that they can hear me, I'll ask them to share more about their character with y'all. Because I'm sure everyone wants to know a bit more about this character and why she looks this way. I mean, she looks crazy. Really, really cool though. So we're working on this collar right now, and I want to add some more geometry going up her neck. An easy way to do that is to grab my Z brush, extrude, and go to, I believe Polyloop will do just fine here. Yeah, there you go. And this will extrude straight up. It is directional, so just keep in mind where your mouse is. And I do want this to fit a little better. So let me go ahead and scoot that in a little bit. And if you're wondering like, oh, could you have just masked higher up her neck in the first place? Yes. Yes, I could. But I didn't. So now we're doing a different technique. And I want to be careful when using polish by features. It does clean things up quite nicely. However, it will also like round off your shapes a lot. So if you want to have the best of both worlds, come in with your Z brush and then crease the edges. And then also kind of like put creases where you want there to be structure. See? This before and this after. Isn't that cool? I'll put one down the center line here too, because I kind of want to get this sharper shape here. Oh yeah, that's cool. Because ZBrush has been so stinking unstable for me, I learned the quick save hotkey, which is number 9. So just if you guys are having issues with ZBrush that's crashing on you all the time, you can just click number 9 after you do literally anything important. I do have quick saves right here that auto process every 3 minutes, and that still wasn't enough. Granted, I'm a bit of a spaz. I absolutely hate redoing work, so yes. There we go. Oh, and thank you guys for all the kind words on the M3DM Monday release. I had like a forest pack, pretty much like this rock archway. You can see the link in the description on Patreon. It's like the first post. And I had these druid and a warlock, and they're both like elves, but they were both very, especially one of them, very busty and very curvy. And I was a little worried that people would think it comes across as distasteful, but I really wanted to show just like, they're just different bodies. It doesn't mean that they're distasteful. And yeah, no, people totally understood it and they loved it, and that was really nice. I guess like as a 3D artist, the equivalent of like selling out is just like making all your models unnecessarily sultry and skimpy. So I was like, I didn't want anyone to think that. And I mean, I guess if they did think that, like fuck them, because that's not what was happening, but I don't know. It's still nice when we're, you know, can't we all just get along? You know what I mean? All right, this is looking really good. Let's go ahead and name this as we go. And let's round that out a little bit. So I do have the commissioned art in front of me, and I do tend to follow it very closely, especially when it's as good looking as this. But who knows? We'll kind of see where this adventure takes us. Let's start on this metal skirt because it looks like it's going to be really easy. It's just the same piece a bunch of times. So the way I'm going to approach this is taking this section right here and then just duplicating it. I'm not totally sure what's going on. Oh, what is happening here? Let me take a second. So we have like this darker blue area. I don't know if you can even see that on stream. And then these metal pieces on top. So I guess this metal piece does not actually curve all the way around. It's more like tassets. Okay, well, I'm glad I zoomed in on that because I was about to make that totally wrong. Okay, it's a little more complicated than I thought, but still not very difficult. So here's a really nice, easy way to do a skirt in ZBrush. Grab your mask pen brush. Mask. Just do like a little belt, essentially. Really pay attention to where it's going to fit on the hips. This is a bit of a lower waistline there, and I really want to push it so it's really low. One, because midriff, and two, she has a giant mouth on her stomach, so I want lots of room to be able to make this really cool feature. All right, with that mask, go ahead and go to extract at 0 thickness, inflate just a touch so it sits outside of your model, and then ZRemesh by half. Last step is to mask the bottom of it. Stretch straight down, whatever the length of your skirt is. And I like to just use the size increase with the gizmo, and you'll see that it tapers naturally. Something kind of like that. I'll turn on double so I can actually see the other side of it. Without double, you like can't see, you like can't see it at all. And I need to know what that looks like for the silhouette. There we go. And then we'll ZRemesh by same. So ZRemesh, just all it tries to do is take polys and evenly wrap the whole thing. If I have half enabled, it tries to use half as many polys as before. And you probably figured it out. If you put same on, it tries to keep it the same. Polish by features. Oh, it looks like I had the neck masked still and I didn't realize it. No matter. Let's go ahead and just stop being silly, please. Auto groups. There we go. Let's go ahead and delete hidden. Perfect. All right, so it is Tuesday. You guys have anything interesting going on? Tell me about your Tuesday. You guys know what I'm doing. Tomorrow I have another stream that's similar to this where we're kind of focusing on an entire character, which, I mean, it's pretty much every stream, but these ones have a bit more of a backstory to them. And what's kind of fun is the person who requested that, it's actually their birthday tomorrow, so that was kind of serendipitous. It looks like the ends of this are quite tattered. I'm not quite sure what's going on back here, but it's cool and I like it. We won't worry about that too much. We're gonna get all these shapes created first. Call this the underskirt. Let's go ahead and move on to the tassets. I'm gonna make this skirt a little bit shorter because it's not really supposed to cover her knees. The easiest way to do that is, again, the Z-Modeler brush. We'll go to delete polyloop and then just click a few times. Remember that Z-Modeler brush is directional. So if I have this, here, look really close. There's a little line. See, it's pointing upwards to the right. It's gold. It's hard to see. There, that's a little easier to see on the pink. Anyway, if it's up, it'll do a vertical cut, and if it's horizontal, it'll do a horizontal cut. I cannot tell you guys how long it took me to figure out that ZBrush or Z-Modeler brush was directional. I just thought it was spiteful and it could like read my mind and do the exact opposite of whatever I was wanting it to do. God forbid I watch a tutorial. It's just not how I learn. Great, we have that skirt piece. And now let's start creating those tassets that sit on top. We have some different options here. I'm just gonna create the center tasset and then I'm gonna see if I can bend it to fit on the hips after the fact. If they hang in the front, is it still called a tasset? I don't know. All right. So for this, I'm just gonna duplicate the skirt because this is already kind of nice and low poly. And we'll kind of just mask a blob shape here. We'll polygroup that, delete hidden, and then polish by features. Now that we have this blob, let's see if we can kind of reshape it. And again, I'm only focusing on this like one triangle because the other ones are going to be identical. Something I can do here, so I'm just using the move brush and nudging stuff out of the way. I can probably use the crease brush to get some of these shapes done for me. Aha. So let me do that again so you guys can see exactly what happened. So I have blob shape. I use a move brush to kind of smoosh it around, and then I put a crease like in a cross. So we have, you know, it's a crease and a cross. And so now I polish my features. It snaps to that shape, and it looks really clean compared to what I would be able to do manually. It'd take forever. All right, is that the same shape as this? Not really. Whenever I'm working on something other than like proportions, I'm also looking, is the line convex or concave? What does that mean? Concave, like is it coming down, like scooped, or concave? Up, scoop, cup, okay? Sounds silly, but like it really makes a big difference. So if you look at this, it's kind of, I mean, it's like pretty much straight, but if you had to pick, it's more of a concave shape this way. I mean, I guess it depends what perspective you're looking at. Whatever. Just look at the curve. Is it going up or down? And on mine, it's coming down. But on this reference, it is going up. That's all I'm trying to say. Pay attention to those kind of things. They make a huge difference as you are designing individual pieces and just your overall character. Let's do a zero mesh and same. See if I can get some better topology here. It doesn't really matter. This is for 3D printing, so it doesn't need to be perfectly optimized or any of that. There we go. And how wide is it? It kind of goes from, I would say like the middle of her thigh to the other middle of her thigh. So let's scoot this in a little bit. How tall is it? Oh, I would say it's kind of like the size of her midriff. And see, I'll move it around and measure it accordingly. There we go. We have a shape. If I polish my features, does it help it? It does. It does look nicer. Take your time finding these shapes. Otherwise it'll come back to haunt you later and you'll have to like spend way more effort trying to fix it. Trust me. All right, I like this. It doesn't have the verticality that I want. So see how it's perfectly flat? I actually want this to be much more pointy. I want it pointy. And I can't remember, I watched someone, I'm looking for a notebook. I watched someone on a stream do this recently because I'm always learning and studying other people. And I think they used like Move, I think it was Move Polyloop or something, but it was so cool. And it's doing exactly what I'm trying to do right now. And of course, this is why I write it down because I won't remember. Move edge. Kind of. Let me grab my notebook and let me look for this because I know I wrote this down. I literally saw this on stream. Sorry, you're gonna get blinded by my hair light right now. Okay, I am back. Squeaky chair. Oh, hello, monkey. Welcome in, welcome in. All right. Look in Discord for more details on what? Oh, just like of the art itself. Yeah. All right. I recommend if you are a human, honestly, at all, have a notebook around and a pen so you can like write down shit because you're not going to remember everything. All right. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people where when I'm using a notebook, I just flip to a random page and then I start writing my notes. God forbid I organize it. So let me see if I can find these notes I took. Also, fun fact, I have multiple notebooks that are all identical. I'm realizing that was a terrible idea. So this is not the one that I took those notes in. Poop. Anyway, have maybe just one notebook to take notes in instead of 3 identical ones. Sad. Okay, well, I'll remember this for later. I do know how to do this. It wasn't as sexy as the technique that I saw on stream. All right, I'm gonna mask it and then just increase the size or just like move it. See, it's not as sexy. It doesn't work as good. I have to like manually mask it. I don't like it. Ugh, it is working like crap. All right, we will mask it powerfully with the Z modeler brush here. And then I'll mask that, invert it. It still doesn't want to do it correctly. This is why I wanted that technique that I found. All right, we're going to use the damp standard brush and Alt. That worked. There we go. It's not as exciting as what I wanted, but it worked. It is still nice. And when I polish my features, it does do a pretty good job maintaining the shape. So I am happy with that, even though I don't sound like it at all. I might change the color palette a little bit here from the reference, just so it's a little easier for y'all to see. We're gonna go to the front here and then bend arc to better get this shape. Again, the primary shape you're working on is the most important step, seriously. Everything else builds upon it. So if your primary shape sucks, the rest of it's very limited in how good it's going to be. Oh man, I didn't have symmetry on. There we go. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's go ahead and detail this piece. I am gonna label this little armor section, just in case I wanna come back to this base shape later and modify it a little bit further. We're gonna add thickness using dynamic subdivision levels, but you could use so many different techniques. Don't feel like if you see someone do it one way, that's the only way to do it, because that's pretty much never true, like ever. All right, just a little bit of thickness is fine. Apply. And then you guessed it, it's a Z modeler brush. It's always a Z modeler brush. All right, we are going to extrude this edge loop. I'm already kind of blinking because I'm like, ooh, I can foresee a problem that's going to happen, and I'm already deciding I will just deal with it when it happens. Is that a mimic? I think she does have mimic roots. Again, Jack's in class right now, so we're all kind of just speculating for now, but I'm sure once he is free, he'll be happy to talk more about his really unique, cool character. All right, I want this little, you know, I could model this or I could sculpt it manually. I got options. What do I want to do? We'll do a combination. Make extrude that poly loop. Shape it a bit, and then let's dynamesh by polish. But in a way that doesn't destroy my work. Thank you. There we go. And again, I really like the shape of this, so I want to try to preserve that as much as I can. There's a different shape right here versus what I have. So let's see how I can do that. I'm using Trim Dynamic and Back Face Mask. Just kind of build up that shape a little bit versus what I had, which was close, but still not quite the same thing. And then we're gonna make that trim a little bit larger. And then let's make this more dramatic, shall we? I'm gonna see if I like clay polish. Clay polish is kind of like, imagine like polish by features, but instead it works better in like a 3D shape. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. This is one of those days where I don't think I like it as much. Which is fine. I like this is looking kind of uneven and weathered a little bit. I'm gonna lean into that. Yeah, that's cool. Let's go ahead and decimate this down because I really don't need this to be super high res. There we go. I'm just looking at the shape of what I'm going for versus what I have, and then you just keep adjusting over and over again. All right, we're gonna duplicate this one piece just in case I wanna come back to it. Now, I'll take this one and really fit it to match what we have in the reference here. So it's a bit longer and it's gonna be a bit more curved. So we'll go to bend arc and stretch it right here. There we go. I'm really, again, taking my time because we're going to duplicate this shape a bunch of times. Jack says, yeah, being weathered looks good. All their armor is just scavenged off other people. That checks out. We were kind of speculating at the beginning here, being like, what is the story behind this character? Because there's obviously a lot to it. I'm going to continue to work on this shape a little bit more, actually, using the knife lasso brush. This is a technique that I saw an artist I really admire using quite a bit, and now I want to try it. But yeah, Jack, so I'm assuming you don't have the stream muted right now. If you could tell us a little bit more about your character, we would love, 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 love to know more. Like, what is her class? What is her deal? Is she a mimic? I know you told me some of these details a hot minute ago, but I'm sure everyone would love to hear it from you. I do have a orb brush that I think is going to work really well for this. This is a free brush pack off of ArtStation, and I really only ever use one, which is Orb Flatten Edge Protect, but every brush in here is quite cool. Ooh, looks like it's not symmetrical. There we go. All right, adding some more sculptural details here. I like that much better. There we go. That's looking quite nice. Now let's see how this layers. I'm gonna go to the side here, move it just a touch, and then it looks like they're pretty much gonna be the same size. I'm just looking at how much is showing and how many layers we have. 1, 2, 3, 4 potentially, it looks like. We'll go with 4. Make the whole thing a bit larger, make sure symmetry is turned on, and I can use my move brush to kind of fix things up. It's getting really wide. I don't like that. This is one of the few instances that using the move brush instead of just like modeling it, I think actually looks really good. It's really getting that kind of organic look to it. And it's a little uneven. I like that too for this specific character. That looks nice. Oh, I almost forgot to tell you guys. So a while ago, probably 2-3 years ago, I did a project that was the 7 Deadly Sins. If you support me on Patreon, you can get access to all of these models. Anyway, they're really cool. They're all my interpretations of the 7 Deadly Sins, and I kind of forgot all about the project until this weekend. My DM brought us like this secret dungeon or whatever. Like she mentioned she'd worked on it during her birthday and she was really excited about it. And it was called Saccharine Sins, like sweet sins. And I was like, I did a 7 Deadly Sins project. Cool. Anyway, so sure enough, there's 7 rooms. Go to the first one, and it's one of the models that I made. And it was so cool. And we steadily went through and defeated them all. She modified the stat blocks I had created for them, which I'm glad because I didn't want to like know the stat block, but I had an idea which ones were going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. And And sure enough, like one of the hardest ones was Envy, because she pretty much had like mind control. And one of our strongest party members is also our dumbest. Not the human, but the character he plays. He plays a giant hippo folk anyway. And it was terrible because we always joke that he would be like the final boss, and he's the one that got mind controlled, of course. And it was awful. But we didn't die. We survived. But it was really, really cool to, you know, fight stuff that I had sculpted. And like, I don't know. I guess that's not the craziest thing for you guys to hear, because I know a lot of you guys use my minis and play with them all the time, but I have never done that before. So that was really cool. 7 years into this job, and I finally played with my own models. So thought y'all would get a kick out of that. I think sometimes people just assume, since I make, you know, minis for a living, that I must use them all the time, and especially if I'm in a D&D group, we must use them all the time. But no, this was the very first one, which kind of, I think in previous campaigns, like initially made me a little sad. I'm like, oh, I wish we kind of used some of the stuff that I'd made, because a lot of the other party members didn't even know that this was my full-time job, which that's on me for not sharing, not them being rude or whatever. But yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. I'm kind of thinking about that for a second. I am kind of one of those like chronic non-sharers. I had a somewhat close friend in college. Again, I say like somewhat because we didn't ever see each other outside of college, and that wasn't an accident, but they were fine. And I like learning about people and asking them questions, all that kind of stuff. And I think it kind of hit them all at once at like the end of the year, because they kind of realized they knew nothing about me, but I knew a ton about them, which again was not necessarily an accident. But yeah, make sure you ask people questions if you want to know stuff about them. Just, yeah. Pro tip, learn how to ask questions. Or be like me and get too good at it, and then you're just an enigma, which honestly, who doesn't love a little bit of mystery? All right, we've moved these tassets around. They're looking really cool. The ones on the side here I think should be a little bit taller. Ooh, those are looking clean. I like it. Ooh, we got some details on this character. All right. Yeah, so she is a fighter. I knew she was a fighter, which I guess was very obvious, but still, I knew it. Jack says, a champion fighter and custom race I made called the Undead Creation, and kind of want to post it on subreddit Unearthed Arcana. Do it, share. Their name is 36 and was made for the fighting pits as a lion style of fight in the arena. And then they one day felt their creators' hold over them go away for unknown reasons and took that chase to get the hell out. The party found them eating cows and pretty much picked them up. I love that. And I love how much of that was clear in your character, because again, there's a lot going on. Characters like this could very easily become like a mess, but she has all of those shackles. I mentioned, I'm like, she looks like an experiment gone wrong, which is kind of true. I'm also glad that you brought up the undead aspect again, because I really want to make sure I make those stitches on her really prevalent. Cool. Very cool. She's also going to be an excuse for me to make a custom hairstyle, which I don't get. I have like some hairstyles and they get a lot of use. I finally will have a reason to make a brand new one for her, so that'll be nice. Alrighty. So these ones line up on her character, but I don't mind kind of changing it up maybe just to get some more visual interest. We'll see. Again, it's such a strong design already. Let's go ahead and make this one subtool. We'll mirror and weld over the Z-axis. I will need to mask this section here and move it just a touch. Sweet. Can adjust the skirt a little bit, as well as the edges here kind of need to be scooted in. Let's go ahead and do that. And again, usually I would do all this just modeling, but because she has like such like her armor looks so weathered, and actually it's okay to use the move brush here and just kind of scoot it over. Makes them a little uneven, and I like that. Oh, face staples. That is a good idea. I may do that. Ew. All right, so we have this armor section here. Another one's even lower poly. So we'll just call this like student low res assets. So if you guys want to like iterate from some of these pieces, you can. We'll call this single-sided tacit. And then that can just be armor section, that's fine. I just want to make sure it's labeled at least a little bit so you guys can know where stuff is. All right, we're off to a really strong start here, so it's already looking quite good. Okay, I'm looking at this skirt here, and we got some weird fabric stuff happening in the back, so I'm gonna kind of interpret that however I want. I like the idea of these like two tails being here. I'm pretty much just gonna make the whole thing kind of tattered. So I'm gonna see this low res opportunity as a chance to make this look really nice and tattered. Again, I don't want it to get too long though. There we go. I love a high-low skirt. Alrighty. Looking good. Paint says, I like the way the character is a little long. Absolutely, and it gives room for her ridiculous stomach mouth. So freaking cool. I think the only thing I don't like about it is I don't know how the heck I'm gonna name this. Champion mutant. Undead. Champion survivor. Fighter. Champion fighter. Mimic lady. We'll see. I don't know. Let's put a little bit of material on the skirt here. A little bit of thickness, and by a little bit, I usually mean a lot of it. Just makes it nice and 3D printable, regardless of the scale. We can go ahead and subdivide that. It's gonna make it look so lumpy, and I don't like that. So let's find a happy medium. What I usually do is add a lot of thickness here, and then I'll come to the underside, and then I will bevel that that edge loop there. So here's the before and after, and that really starts to kind of soften it up. We're gonna bevel this one right here too. And maybe again. Just a bunch of like well-placed bevels can go a long way. And then most of this is just gonna be hand sculpting to make this fabric look interesting. I also want to be asymmetrical. So I'm gonna turn off symmetry and start adding some fabric folds. We'll do some wear and tear in a bit here. All my fabric folds, I pretty much exclusively use the standard brush unless I am simulating it in Marvelous Designer, which I've been doing more and more recently. It has been so much fun. I have just really enjoyed being a beginner in a software again and just having fun with it. And there's no like timeline on like learning Marvelous Designer for me. It's just like a fun thing that I play with when I feel like it. You'll see that on streams here and there. Obviously my bread and butter is still ZBrush, but as I learn more, I'm happy to share with you guys. Because I know I have a few students that are quite interested in learning Marvelous Designer as well. So again, I kind of just blanketed this and loose fabric folds, and it will just look interesting. There we go. And now I can take my move brush and start making this look a bit more shredded and tattered. At any point, if you guys have questions, please ask. I love answering questions. Because this is gonna be 3D printed, you have to be really careful in the way that like you tatter things. Notice that these are still like really chunky. They're not like wispy in the way that like shredded fabric would normally look. Hey Miguel, hello, hello. Hey bud, hope your stream goes well today. Yeah, it's been okay. No, I'm just kidding. We're having a really good time. Isn't this character freaking crazy? I can't grab it. I'm so excited about it. There we go. Isn't that wild? Oh my god, this has been so much fun. It's a custom race that they made. And she just looks outrageous in the best way. So, I'm having fun. Never a dull day in the tavern. Come here. There we go. Oh my gosh, Yoni's here. Hey Yoni, welcome in. You know, I can leave this up a little larger. I feel like I kind of cheat you guys on the reference art. I need to work zoomed in too. Oh my goodness. I'm like, yeah guys, how do you like the work I'm doing? I don't know. Or I do the opposite where I'm like, I'm trying to find a happy medium. Oh my goodness. I think it's sweet. You guys literally never complain, but I'm still gonna try to do better. All right. Let's put that here. I'm gonna go and grab my favorite brush of all time, my favorite secret, not secret brush, which is Slash. It is talent in a brush. Kind of like washes for mini paints. Oh my gosh. Okay. I really like adding this because this brush, the whole point of it, it's just a crease brush. That's it. But when you're dry brushing, if you're like me and really bad at dry brushing, I really need a lot of help. So if I don't have like a really like crisp edge, like a really crisp edge, there's no chance in hell I'm gonna dry brush that well. And I also rely really heavily on washes. So again, need edge. And don't get me wrong, like it's just nice to paint minis that feel like they want to be painted. Some of my earlier work, I don't think paints like it wants to be painted, and that's okay. I was still learning. Oh, I don't know, I haven't shared this yet, but this is kind of a big week for me. I have a lot going on. This weekend, I will be going to that cow sorting clinic. If you're like, what the heck is that? It's just like cowboy shit. I'm going to, putting my horse in a box. We're driving down the road to a guy who knows how to rope and sort cattle. And I'm going to do that on my thoroughbred, which is really funny. If you don't know anything about horses, essentially thoroughbreds are for racing. They're not so much cow horses. But you know what? He's what I got, and we're going to have fun, damn it. Oh my goodness. I'm definitely nervous. I'm always nervous. Period. No. No, I'm always nervous. Like, this is a new scary thing, you know? Sometimes it can feel weird to like pay money to learn something that you know you're probably not going to be very good at, but that's the whole point of it. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also nervous because that's just my nature a little bit. We're working on that. So that's that. And then also, like, the little kid in me is super excited. There's a new Pokemon game coming out Thursday, but technically tomorrow. I'm gonna stay up till midnight and play it then. And I'm just super excited about that. Miguel says, I'm making gargoyles today. I'm tempted to put a silly little hat on one. Don't be tempted. Do it. That's awesome. Don't let your dreams be dreams. All right, this is looking pretty damn good. Detailed. I do kind of want to put like a belt right here. I do feel like it's a little, I don't know. My brain feels like something needs to be there. It's probably fine the way it is. Maybe like I'll put some buckles that shows how the armor is being held on. But also I'm gonna make this ridiculous cavernous mouth, so it might not matter. Duke says, Pokemon game drop equals no work on Friday. Yeah, pretty much. I am probably, if you don't see, there's a reason why I have no stream planned Thursday, because I'm probably going to be just playing Pokemon. So when I was in college, obviously I was really busy, so I kind of missed playing video games and that kind of stuff, which means there was a couple generations of Pokemon that I really didn't play very much of, which I think is, it was the remake, like X and Y and Black and White, which I think might be the same ones, but like a remake. I didn't really play any of the ones where the starters were like Froakie, which eventually is Greninja, and the Fox one, Fennec. I didn't play these ones at all. There's like 2 generations I just completely whiffed on, and those are the ones that Pokemon Legends ZA kind of picks up on again and has new Mega Evolutions for, so I'm very excited for that. It feels like a full circle moment. I always thought the Mega Evolutions gimmick was really cool, and my favorite Pokemon is Absol, so obviously I'm super fucking pumped because the Mega Evolution of Absol is sick. Alright, we're starting this pauldron right here. I'm going to go ahead and move her arms down a little bit. I have found that makes posing a touch easier for shoulder pauldrons. You know, her arms are already out a decent amount, so I can actually kind of mimic that. Ha, mimic. I know she's not a mimic, but I think she is. All right, take that, extract. There we go. There's Miguel. Wahaha, look at this nerd. He likes video games. Ignores his Helldiver's 2 quick launch button. Oh my god. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out. I mean, no guys, look at this weird guy bullying me in my own chat. I don't know him. I super know Miguel. I mean, no I don't. Oh my goodness. Careful, Miguel, you're gonna... Tower peasants are gonna fight you. I mean, I guess you show up enough. You're one of the peasants here too. The shape of this pauldron and this one, just that first segment, is similar enough that I can probably get away with like masking or mirroring it and then building off of that one. So go ahead and duplicate, mirror, and change the color on that one. Yes. Very good. For Super Earth. You know, I'm surprised I have not played any of Helldivers. I feel like I would really like it too. Same with like Marvel's Rivals. I played like 1 game and I was like, oh my god, this reminds me of Overwatch in its heyday. And I was like, I don't know if I should have that in my life again. Probably surprising no one. Your girl loves playing support. I think it is so much fun. I get to pay attention to what everyone is doing and then just like, I don't know, be involved. I just think it's fun. I like being super aware of all the plays that are going on, so support's really fun for me. And in Overwatch, oh my god, being a support player is the worst. That's the worst. Oh my god. I still have nightmares of Diva's line, I need healing! Like, at any given point, you guys have no idea. This game drives me fucking crazy, but I really enjoyed it. I always had like all the chats and stuff muted, but you can't mute the other character voice lines, so... Okay, anyway. That's why I don't play Marvel's Rivals, because I still hear fucking Diva's voice line at any point in the day. It drives me crazy. Oh my god. Every now and then I'd find a group that noticed that I was trying my best as a healer and like just adored me. I was in a couple of different like groups, and if they saw me, they'd always like grab me and then I'd play with them all night, and that was super fun. But eventually, it turns out they didn't play Overwatch every day for the rest of their life, so I had to find new groups of people, and that did not happen. I was super brave once, and I'm like, this would be so much easier if I had voice chat, and that was a stupid idea. Not gonna do that again. Didn't do that again. I saw like on Reddit they have Overwatch groups that are like women only, And I'm like, I probably should have just done that, but I didn't. Duke says, support absolutely carries a team, right? It's so much fun. It is so freaking satisfying. Duke says, I usually play tank, and if you got no support, you may as well just line up to jump in the wood chipper. Pretty much. Like, I would decide like what kind of support player I was going to be within like the first like 2 to 3 clashes or whatever. And some tank players, and you know this, Duke, they just run into the middle of the field. And I'm like, okay, I know like you're tank and like I got you, and I'm like, I'm going to do my best to support, but like I cannot make you immortal. You cannot have no cover. So usually I would just flex to like, oh my gosh, how am I not remembering her names? I usually play as Moira or Mercy. Stop crazy, no one. Is his name Lucio? The little fast green man. Yeah, it was Lucio. I was really good as him. So I would just cause problems on the other side and be distracting because he's so hard to hit. But yeah. Did not care for the Overwatch 2 and how expensive all the cosmetics are and stuff, because I like cool stuff and looking cute, but it is very expensive, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna spend $20 for a recolor, thank you. And I want to be clear, like most people that I played with online were super nice. It was just, God, I could just tell the ones that were going to be a turd. Ugh. Yeah, support, exactly. Support is always the first to get shit on, so no one wants to bother with it. It's true. Again, it was so weird because, like, in Overwatch 2, you can see everyone's numbers, like, even more plainly than in Overwatch. You can see, like, the exact number of, like, heals and damage and stuff. And, like, I would have outrageous heals. Way more than, like, I thought was, like, the standard's like 1,000 per minute or some shit like that. I can't remember what the standard was. I'm trying to erase it from my mind. But anyway, it would be like, I would have more heals than the other healer on my team, plus the other 2 combined. And I would still be like, the fuck is X-Clowillo doing? Clowillo is like my name everywhere. And I'm just like, and to be clear, there are people like, you can't just like heal a bot as Mercy and get tons of heals and think that you're being helpful. That's also not helpful. Again, because like, again, there's certain like tanks that'll just run to the fire. So you can get like crazy heals, but like you're not actually helping anybody. You're just keeping this one douche alive for a half a second longer. Oh my goodness. I have feelings on Overwatch. My God. I will talk about something else when I think of something else. Oh my God. Miguel says, is it true Mercy and her pistol can wreck stuff? I mean, it depends on what, like, at times, yeah, it was, okay. Yes, the short answer is yes. There were definitely times as Mercy that I would like become like Rage Mercy, and then I would like find like squishy DPS and then like wreck them because I was so mad. Like people that aren't good at Widow were a lot of fun because again, she's a sniper and they'll just panic. So you can run up and just like murder. I would say the fuck away from like Ashe and what's the guy? They changed his name. He's who Matt Mercer voices. Like, it's high noon. But they changed his name because it was offensive or something. I can't remember. Anyway, that guy, the cowboy guy, I avoid the fuck out of him too. But the rest of them I can usually go for. Matt says, yeah, I got shouted off Mercy so many times. Yeah. Yeah, and Mercy, no, she is not a closet DPS. No, you can only do that with players who are like gonna panic again. That's fun. But otherwise, no. My favorite was playing as, like, again, if you're like Rage, is like Moira instead. Because if you had someone in like a small space and you put your little damage orb out and did like the damage healy suck thing while like phase shifting, they can't hit you. And then if you, again, it only works if you're like in a small room and they panic and don't leave, which happens more than you think. But yeah, McGee. Yeah, thank you. I got halfway decent as, what the fuck's her name? Echo? The blue robot lady. I feel like that's not right. You know, I'm really good at people's names, like in real life, but in video games, books, oh God, it just immediately falls apart. Let me make sure. I should know what her name was. Okay, yeah, it was Echo. I got decently good with her at some point because I got so mad at playing as support. I was like, I'll just play as Echo. No, I'm terrible at it. I'm like, I'm not helping anyone. Raging about Overwatch was not on my bingo card today, guys. You want to pick a new topic? Oh, McCree Cassidy. Oh, hello, Empress. Welcome in. Yes. I never knew the drama behind that, which is unlike me. I read about that. I love watching. That's like a guilty pleasure. I know it's trashy. Especially like those like 2-hour like mockumentaries on YouTube are like super serious. I just love that shit. The only thing is like I come away from it, my opinions pretty much never change. I'm a pretty neutral person. Like I remember at one point, an artist I like a lot, Ross Draws. I can't even remember what exactly he came under fire for, but it was like people were so mad about it because he took a long time to release this cool art book he was working on and didn't communicate a lot. I don't know, whatever. And like I watched all these ridiculous videos being like, talking about how he's like a scammer and whatever. And again, I watched them because I thought they were entertaining. But again, I watched the whole video and I'm still like, I think Ross is a good guy. Which I realize is the worst because I'm like feeding the trolls with my one view. What can I say? I don't know. Like a terrible TV show that I love is, if you guys ever watch Love After Lockup, it's fucking terrible. It's so good. Okay, that's enough of that. I'm posing her feet so I can make shoes a little easier. If you know your character is not going to be in like flats, pose their feet just a little bit. I know it looks really busted right now. Look, you don't have to do a good job. Just divide their foot into like the 3 sections that feet are, which is like the heel, the arch, and the toe section. Get it good enough. Again. Oh no, it wasn't in symmetry. My worst nightmare. All right, get it good enough. And then it makes it so much easier to make custom shoes from. Also, feet, if you looked at feet, they look kind of fucked up regardless. So, don't feel like it needs to be perfect. Neat. Oh my gosh, Farah. Farah is fun because if you combo her with Mercy, guys, you guys gotta get me to stop talking about Overwatch. Anyway, that was fun. I love doing that. And then Matt said, I thought Ross was under fire for AI use in his book. Oh, really? Well, that's gotta be a more recent one. I remember from way back when AI wasn't really even a thing yet. That was like one of his first art books he made and got funded through on Kickstarter. Alleged use. He's good enough and been doing it long enough before AI. I don't think he needed it. Yeah, I agree. Oh, hello, just lingual. Welcome in. I'm only jumping in for a moment. I'm about to take an orbital mechanics exam. Well, good luck. Yeah, it is about midterms, isn't it? That's the only thing. Again, another reason why I liked not being in school so much. October became October again instead of midterms, and December became my birthday month again instead of finals. Y'all, when I was in college, every single year I had a final on my birthday. It sucked. Gosh, I feel like I need to talk about something that I like and being so negative. It's just so fun to complain, especially about video games. Oh gosh. Yeah, I'm really excited with the new Pokemon game, and specifically, I've been replaying Pokemon Scarlet and Violet like a ton, because they're my favorite Pokemon games actually, even though, period, they're my favorite, and it's the first time I've ever found like shinies legitimately ever. And now I have like 11. It's very, very exciting. I think I posted about it in our Discord like immediately. I was so pumped. All right, this is looking really good. I'm not gonna worry about all these other arms quite yet. Just Lingual says, my goal is 46%, but we'll see. Hey, that's really high. That's like almost a normal F. Don't shoot too high. If you guys went to school or college and you weren't in engineering or maybe STEM, I feel like that's not a normal thing, but that was really normal for like me and my friends when we were in college. Like we would break down like what category of F you got because everyone just failing all the time. And I mean this, not like, oh, I got a 65. I'm like, bitch, that's almost a C. You passed. No, because like the way, averages work and stuff, if you get like a super F, like a 20, that's a lot harder to recover from like a 55 F, which isn't as bad. If you're not familiar with like United States, like America grading, essentially 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 90 is a B, 70 to 80 is a C, 60 to 70 is a D, and everything below that is an F. I'm talking about percentages. So yes. There was an exam that I will never forget, where it was something like computational numeric analysis bullshit. It sucked. Anyway, and I got a 9%. A 9. And I was the third highest grade in the class. Oh, it was dramatic. I remember Ricky picked me up after that because I usually skated home. I was a skater. No, I longboarded. Skateboards are so much harder to ride than a longboard. But anyway, and so Ricky picked me up, and he's so sweet. He just like, hey, how was your day? Oh, how'd your test go? And I look at him, and I just like explode into tears. And then we got McDonald's, and it was fine. But school is tough. It sucked. Oh my goodness. It sounds good. Thanks for stopping by, Miguel. Just Single says, Mia, on a different note, I went to get the legendary with a discount and I couldn't. Oh, no, I know. We haven't Okay. I'm glad you brought this up. I'm glad you tried to get the discount. We have a sale going on Patreon right now. And if you have supported me before, Patreon, just like, you know what? Fuck you. You don't get discounts anymore. And I don't have control over it. And it sucks. So I'm sorry. The only way to get the discount is to use a new email address. Sorry. I hate that. We were so sad. We sent out that email to like 200 people and everyone's like, I tried to use a discount, it doesn't work. And I was like, what do you mean? And yeah, Patreon's like, only if it's your first month, which I think is crazy. I love Patreon. And obviously it helped me build my art business, but it's my product. Let me discount things however I want. Jesus Christ. So, sorry. Sad. Maybe have your wife make an account. That's a terrible answer. Sorry. Not happy about it. We're gonna make these boots. Well, I'm sad about that. Just Single says, so I have to abandon you in order to support you. Yes. Something else you can do that we're thinking about sending a message out about is you can upgrade to Legendary, pay the full price. So if you're rare, you'll get charged $7 more or whatever. And then I can refund you the month before. So you'll actually get 50% off instead of the 25% that I'm offering. It will just take a little bit longer to go through. So that's the way I'm thinking of working around Patreon, because I can issue refunds as much as I want. So yeah, if you're already a patron, you can't use a discount, which is stupid. But if you're already a patron, that means you already give me money. So if you upgrade to the more expensive tier, I can just refund your previous month. So yeah. Also a reminder to anyone that puts in requests, if you become a patron and you make a request, and then 3 months later you cancel and I get to your request, I'm not going to make it anymore because you're not a patron. I say that everywhere, but I'm going to start saying that on stream as well. And the reason for that is because you have to be a patron to get access to my models, so it doesn't even make sense. How would you get the model then? So yeah. We got boots. Let's make this a little lighter gray, or you know what? We're gonna do a little color swap here. Got this. Let's make that a little darker. There we go. Just Single says, whoa, I'll do that as long as it doesn't bother you. No, not at all. Please do. Please do. I would love that. I'm still making money overall, and I really like to spoil you guys. So yeah, if you are currently supporting me on Patreon at the rare tier and you want the discount, you can't get it. But if you upgrade to the legendary tier, send me a message on Patreon and I will refund your previous month. Everyone wins. Yes. Have fun with your spacey, tiny, whiny math. Goodbye, just lingual. Thanks for stopping in. How sweet is just lingual? They're like, oh, I'll do that if it doesn't bother you. Like, that's so sweet. Of course it doesn't. All right, so I like to make my shoes in 3 different portions. The leg portion, vambrace. No, sorry, that's an arm. Greaves. The little heel is its own piece. And then last but not least, what I call like the sock portion, which is what form fits to the foot. And then from there, I might break the sock portion down into like the toe and the sole. But I find that with shoes especially, oof, you gotta break them down to a lot of pieces. Feet are really complicated. Let's get this heel shaped good enough. It's mirror and weld. You'll notice I'm not adding like a nice bevel or anything to it yet. That's all gonna come later. I also will duplicate the base mesh and then dynamesh it at a really low resolution and use that to make the little sock portion or whatever. See, I'll duplicate, or sorry, delete, not duplicate, and then ZBrush. So again, I grabbed the original body to do that and made a duplicate of that. That way it's just so much easier, and look, it's already foot shaped. Heels are kind of weird. They like slope inwards just a touch, and then they kind of flare out at the top too. Again, shoes just have a lot of subtleties to them, so take your time. Don't rush it, and it will look better. And use more subtools. For the love of God, just use more subtools. I promise it'll make your life easier. There we go. See? Shoe. Does it look great? No. But it obviously looks like a shoe. And if you make something, that means you can go back and make it look better later. Check that out. Shoe. Oh goodness, we had quite an uptick of people here. Hello, welcome in everyone. Tiny feet? Does she have weirdly tiny feet? Damn it, she does. She does have tiny feet. I didn't notice that until you pointed it out. Thank you, Paint. I mean, annoying, but thank you. I know how to fix that. So we're gonna merge down the heel and the sock portion. Also, I cannot tolerate tiny feet. One, I have huge feet for a woman, especially. I'm like a size 10. I'm not even that tall. I'm like 5'5". Whatever. But also because I 3D print these and I don't want less contact on the base. I want more. So we're gonna just increase that by about 10%. Kind of scoot that over. There we go. That already looks better. Thank you, Paint. I'm also going to turn on color spray here because I kind of want more fun color. Again, I love the reference, super, super cool, but I'm also going to kind of do my own thing with it too. I like this being gold. I think it ties it together a bit more. She does have forearms, pretty cool. Paint says, I'm a size 11-12. Really annoying because no one has my size. I think that's somewhat normal. Needs clown feet. Hello, foundation. I know, right? Duke mentioned the drawing. It's more of a short boot than a high heel. So this is something that I always like tend towards. This is a cool note for my students that are watching. I like to make my base meshes larger than skinnier because I think it's easier to slim something down than bulk something up. I like to make my heels taller than shorter because it's a lot harder to go from like the short boot. If I want to take this and then try to move it up, it's kind of hard to find that arch again. But if I have something that's kind of like already fits the foot and like really elegant, it's really easy for me to grab that heel and just lower it. Really easy. So what I'm trying to say is I'm just making a really nice boot based on your character, but it's going to get modified. So don't worry about it. Paint said, Mia, could you give me a guide on how to do rendering tricks like you do to make the model look pretty? I was trying to do it and I feel like I was missing something. Oh yeah, let's do a little like lighting tutorial. Let's do it. Okay, we're gonna go into teaching mode. Boop. Hello, welcome to teaching mode. Okay, so right here you can see this is like the button clicks that I'm doing, but most of the things you need to pay attention to right now are going to be in the menus up here. So let's go ahead and scoot this reference down. The first thing that I do is look at my lighting. I have 2 lights. So go to your light tab. This is true for all versions of ZBrush. You can also do some of this in Blender. So let's turn off both lights. The first light, you'll know it's on because it's lit up literally. I like to kind of drag it either to the left or to the right. You can really get some dramatic, fun effects here. But for the first, like this light, just kind of get something that's off to the side. This is like your fill light. That's going to do most of the heavy lifting. My intensity is 0.9, my distance is 90, my ambient is 3. I also like to have it maybe perhaps a little on the warm side. Cool-ish. Maybe not pure white. Just play with it. You can get a lot of cool effects here. Just know that this first light is responsible for, you know, lighting your scene. It's not the art light. It's just the fill light. The second light is where you can kind of start to get fun. I like to put this one more dramatic off to the side. This light has been broken for me recently. I don't know what I did to make this light so angry. So we're gonna turn that one off and we're gonna grab the one underneath it. None of these matter. So all of these are just spots where you can create new lights. It doesn't matter which ones you use. You can use the top 2, the bottom 2, it doesn't matter. All right. So for this one, I'm gonna kind of rotate it until I find something that I like. For characters that are spookier, I like to give them more of an underlight. Let's go something a bit more on the reddish orange side. And then my intensity, I have this at 2.2. The higher the intensity, the brighter it's going to be. My ambient's at 3, my distance is at 90. Again, play with it, see what you like. The next trick I do is I go to Render, Preview AO, and make sure Occlusion is turned on. This is so freaking important. See that before and after? AO is ambient occlusion. What does that mean? It's the little shadows in between things. You can bump the intensity up. Again, for spookier characters, I like for it to be quite intense. And this is definitely a spookier character. And then last but not least, I click on comma for my light box. Go to Render Set, and there's 2 presets I really like, Radial Overlay and Preview AO. We'll try out Preview AO. Double click on that, nothing's gonna happen. And then Shift R. Again, that is Shift and R, and then you'll get fancier lighting look. Again, there's not a whole lot of texture here. And some look better with Radial Overlay, some of them look better with Preview AO. You kind of just play with either one. I am more obsessed with my viewport looking good than necessarily the render looking good. So, yeah. I don't mind if it's a little blown out. Just want it to be easier to see what I'm working on while also being kind of like providing some visual interest. But there you go. Those are the main components that I mess with. You can also look at like preview shadows, and deep shadows will give you quite a dramatic look. Versus flat shadow is weird. I wouldn't recommend that. And you can further tune this as well. Okay, deep shadows looks really good on this specific character, so I'm going to keep that. I don't normally do that though. All right. There are some lighting tricks for you to enjoy. Paint says thank you. You're so welcome. And now the scene looks a little better for everyone to look at, so it's a win-win. Duke says big brain planning. Exactly. Also, I totally thought her heel was higher than it was. That being said, I would still do it this way. All right, I'm gonna duplicate the body and just add these extra arms so her silhouette is more accurate. Kind of a tip or like a trick here, when you're doing characters that have multiple arms, they don't need to be equal. The same thing goes with a character with multiple heads. It just makes your life difficult, so cheat. These are her main arms, they're gonna be larger. These arms here, you can even tell that the artist that Jack commissioned here did this trick where these arms are smaller. They're at least 15% smaller. It's quite significant. So just keep that in mind. I also like to fit a secondary pair of arms on the lower side of your shoulder blades. So they'll fit more like this, which is a little different than what the artist Jack commissioned did, but not really. So they're working in 2D, so they wanted to get that really strong silhouette. I love that. It looks like it's kind of coming out like right here, but I guarantee it's still not right. I mean, it's 4 arms. Is there right placement? Whatever. Like on the bottom of that scapula, which is really cool. I'm just doing this right now to make the silhouette a little closer. There we go. Very cool. Making some really, really good progress here. I can't help like lizard brain itch. I want these to look even more similar, so I might end up painting this to look just like the reference. To do that, I'm gonna use my paintbrush, and I'm simply going to do this manually, which I wouldn't normally, but that's fine. What color do I need here? Make that a little lighter. So another thing to keep in mind if you're gonna play with your lighting a lot in ZBrush, if you're going to poly paint or texture, it's going to be inherently inaccurate because, you know, you use colored lights. It looks like your model's colored, but it's not. So just keep that in mind. The same thing can be said if you're using matte caps. Matte caps have baked in materials. Oh, I should talk about that. That lighting stuff I showed you guys, completely useless if you grab any material up here. Totally useless, or pretty much useless. These have baked in lighting and shadows. Make sure you're using a standard material if you want to mess around and play with lighting. I also have an exciting update, which is ZBrush hasn't crashed even once. So whatever I tried to fix before the stream worked. And I'm very excited about that. Yay. Okay. We're gonna call this Undead Champion Fighter. Yeah. Paint said, Mia, I would love to do a painting miniature time with you. I'd love to teach painting and non-metallic metals. Yes. And other tech. That would be really cool. I've tuned into a couple of your streams just for a little bit. But yeah, that would be really cool. I like that you also like teaching and showing what you know. It's fun, isn't it? We're gonna go with more of a muted color here, I think, for the breastplate, because now I'm kind of obsessed with making it look like the render. No, I won't do that. We'll move on. All right, what's the next shape I can kind of tackle here to make some big improvement? Let's go ahead and create this staff. There we go. I keep this pretty simple. Right now, I'm just grabbing shapes. For this, I'm going to enable local symmetry, which is very powerful. I'm going to enable this on the X and Y axis, sorry, X and Z axis. X and Z. So that means as I sculpt on the front and the back of this, it'll all happen at once. See? It's happening to the back side of it too. Really cool. I spent so much time learning how to like model things correctly, and now I've come full circle and I just sculpt everything again, which is kind of maddening, honestly. Oh my gosh. But the reason why I'm better at sculpting is because I learned how to model it too, so whatever. Right now my whole goal is just to get the rough shape out, and then when I want to clean it up later, I go back to modeling. That's another thing you have to get comfortable with as an artist. Just because you learned a new technique or you needed to get the job done or whatever, doesn't mean it's the best technique. You might come full circle. As you get better, techniques that you thought did not work at all might work well. It's kind of wild. It's definitely a profession that you would benefit from, having a big ol' slice of humble pie whenever you can. I get that all the time because I teach, and it's so much fun to watch like students that barely know what they're doing. They're brand new, right? And they will come up with like really unconventional but kind of brilliant ways to approach how to create certain things, and it's cool. I'm always learning. Empress mentions multi-limbed characters are so fun, right? Oh yeah, I better knock on wood somewhere. I know, it's crazy. I should know better than talking about ZBrush not crashing. That's the best way to get to crash. All right, I'm going to make this duplicate here and then scoot this over because I just think it's so cool that there are 3 right behind her. So we'll do 1. And again, I am really like following these references super closely. If you're interested in getting a request done for me on Patreon, you don't have to have fully commissioned art. And honestly, half the time I make my own interpretations anyway, because it's not a commission, it is a request. It's just a fun thing. Just figure I'd mention that because I know like these streams are an opportunity for me to like really take my time, be really slow, and have fun with all these like little details and stuff. But don't feel like, oh no, if I don't provide her with exactly what I want, she won't accept the request. I accept everything. Okay, I actually denied a request for the first time in months. I had somebody ask for the trio of K-pop Demon Hunters. There's 3 girls. I haven't seen it yet. I know. And I was like, that is not only IP specific, the IP that I do not own. Spoiler alert, yeah, I do not own K-pop Demon Hunters. It's 3 fucking women. In what world is that one request? I thought it was so funny. I was like, bruh, no. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't get a request that month. It just means he needs to put in a different one. And I let him know that. I don't think he put in a different request yet though. To be clear, I didn't literally tell him, bruh, what the fuck were you thinking? I thought that because I was like, dude, that's 3 models and like super IP specific. And by IP, I just mean intellectual property. It's kind of like asking you to sculpt Mickey Mouse. Sure, I don't want to be sued, but honestly, it's just really boring for me as well to like create something that's been done a million times. I want to make this, whatever this is. This is so deliciously unique and weird and beautiful and inspiring. Like, this is why I love my job. Not to sculpt K-pop Demon Hunter ladies, even though they look really cute and nice. I just, no. I never have examples of like what kind of requests I would deny. So I was excited that I finally could tell you guys like, I would deny this. I'm also a firm believer of like, it never hurts to ask. You know what? There was technically a non-zero chance that I would have agreed to that. So, dude was just shooting his shot. That's fine. Still said no. Oh, I'm laughing because I saw it. So when I was talking about that request, I was also thinking about, you know, I had someone recently or like months ago ask for a horse with 2 riders, which is technically 3 models. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into that request right now because it's awesome. And I had other reasons for accepting that. And sure as shit, the person who requested that just showed up in our chat. Everyone give big warm welcome to Casey. And Casey says, sorry, my upcoming shield maiden with halfling on a horse is like 3 models, but I offered multiple month requests to do it. Exactly. You did not worry me at all. One, it was on brand. It's fantasy. It's cool as shit. And you asked for like another version of it later on where they're like, one of them's hurt. So like I'm getting a lot of use out of it. And it's kind of like a display piece. And you've been a patron for many months. Like you're not coming in asking for something ridiculous and then dipping. Yeah, I take a lot of factors in consideration. That is so funny that you showed up. I was literally thinking about you when I explained that. And I'm like, what are the odds that person's gonna show up into my stream at the exact moment that I talk about this request that I denied? And there you are. No, you're lovely. Don't you worry. Speaking of, it feels like I said I started your request weeks ago and then you haven't seen anything from it. I keep getting priority tickets. So it's exciting, you know, that's why. It's gonna be great. There we go. Yoni says, I would like to request a 10-man Dragon Ball Z diorama by Tom. Okay, here, take the money. Wendelia says, the K-pop Demon Hunter girls have also most likely been modeled by a bunch of people. Exactly. Like, yeah, exactly. Oh, here we go. And then Paint gave me a reference of how people carry spears. And it's like, yeah, like a bunch of needles. So there's going to be like a little cup on the bottom of it and then a strap. That's really cool. I like that. Also, Wendelia, happy early birthday. Tomorrow is Wendelia's birthday and we are sculpting their request. So what a beautiful day that will be. I'm excited. Okay, what was I doing? Let's block out some hair. That sounds like fun. I haven't done hair in so long. We got about half hour left on the stream here. Okay, so hair. Step 1. Mask the hairline, like a little fun little hair helmet. Extract with thickness. It's one of the few, go away lightbox. It's one of the few instances where I do extract with thickness. Make it really big and blobby. Make it silly. Give yourself some room to work. Love that light blue hair color. Just gorgeous. Is there a reason why it's appearing like metal right now? I don't know. Not gonna worry about it. All right. Now that you have your hair blob, go ahead and give that a Dynamesh and then start moving it into place. You can use a smooth brush a little bit. Don't forget that your hair does come down right here. You don't want it looking absolutely no sideburns, even if it's a girl. All right, so for her, she does have like a half shaved look going on here. The next thing I like to do is strike out the hairline, and this is usually going to be asymmetric. So her part is somewhere up here. I like to make that really deep with a damn standard brush. There you go. We have, yeah, then make her do a flip. Not intentional, that was an accident. There we go. Doing a little bit more shaping here. All right, that's pretty good. This hairline is pretty sharp right here too. I'm looking right above her ear. All right, something kind of like that. She's got this little dude haircut going on. And the next step of what you do is you add another blob. You can use curved tube for this or a sphere. It really doesn't matter. You're starting to block out what the hair shape is going to be. Because it's so asymmetric, this is gonna be tricky. No, I can do it. All right, we're gonna go to picker, once Z, and that just makes sure that it doesn't like stick to her head. And then we're gonna go to stroke, curve modifiers, and enable size, and then flip this little graph. This just means that as the length of the brush continues, the size gets smaller. So check it out. That's a really fun way to say it's gonna taper. All right. We're going to start at this hairline where that part was and do a big ol' swoosh. And then we're gonna Dynamesh. We are constructing hair blobs. Don't overthink it. You are not allowed to look at individual hair strands, okay? Just blob. I need to draw over this because my students get this wrong every time. I love you guys, but it's so easy to overcomplicate this and you just don't have to. So, step one, we are looking at the shape. It's just a U. We had a construction line though, so we kind of like built like her hairline here first, like this little helmet. And now from that, I'm taking these sections here and I'm gonna make like, here's a blob, and I'm gonna make a secondary blob right here. And then last but not least, a little tertiary blob. Let's make it a different color. Right here. It's gonna be 3. And this is pretty much gonna swoosh around her head. This teal blob right here is gonna be really, really skinny. It's kind of like a wrapping mohawk almost is how I'm thinking of this. What I usually see people do when they're trying to sculpt hair is they were like, yeah, I'm breaking it down into chunks. And then what they do is they like, this chunk, and that one, and that. I'm like, no. You're gonna get lost in the sauce. Make your life easier. I love using move and backface mask for this to really block out these shapes easily because the direction of it's also really important. And then pay attention to where it's falling roughly, like distance-wise. So it's pretty much touching her collarbone here. So that's a really easy mark for me to see. And then tucking that into that hairline. There we go. We got a blob. Nice blob. Now I can duplicate this, mirror, make it smaller. And in case you're like worried, like, oh, where's all the detail gonna come in? You can't do detail until you have shapes. Otherwise, there's nothing to detail. There's a shape there. We're gonna duplicate that. And there's that, I think I made it teal on the example I just did for y'all. There we go. A hair mint, if you will. Lloyd Christmas style, exactly. Paint says, it looked like Jinx for a second. I feel called out. I called you out a little bit, and that's okay. You're fun to make fun of because you are improving a ton and doing fantastic. Paint's one of my students. One of my favorite students to be mean to, too. They handle it really well. I say as they're like crying in their room, I don't know. Nah, you're making good art though, so small price to pay. Just kidding. Please be nice to yourselves. Okay. Duplicate. We are continuing the hair blob and the swoosh. I'm gonna make this 3 pieces right here just to make my life easier. And again, it's a lot of just move and backface mask. Okay, ZBrush is being slow. Please don't crash. Aha. All right, got all these sections here. We'll probably make one more. So there's gonna be 3 sections on each side of her head is how I ended up doing this. Slowly getting longer and all wrapping in that the same direction here. And check it out. It is totally starting to look like a thing. Why isn't this hair piece moving? Oh, it's her head. I was like, it's not moving. Okay, we're not doing that. And then from here, you just kind of move around these blobs until it looks like the hair blob you started with. Or sorry, you initially referenced, because you didn't start with anything. You kind of want to look at it and see, like, do I have too much volume, not enough volume here? Her hair looks quite, like, fine and soft right here. Oh my god. Paint says, Mia, do not shoot me, but it looks like the Karen hair a little bit. No, it does not. Bad. Paint says, I only cry when it's a tech issue with the program. I work in IT and just want things to work like everyone else. I get ya. Jack says, it's looking so good, isn't it? This is gonna be awesome. All right, here's my next step where I'm sure if I was a bigger streamer or artist, people would be like, you're cheating, which is my favorite. All right, you can use a curve brush like a peasant, or you can spend like $3 and buy a hairbrush online or make one yourself. They're really not hard to make. This is from Danny Mac, and all it has is these little tubes right here. And watch this. You click and you draw, and you got blobs. This section here is actually multiple pieces. They're just extruded like rectangles, but when you subdivide them, they look really nice. And then my favorite thing about it is there's different pieces, right? So I can use my move brush and I can like wispify it. Isn't that cool? Ugh, that's like where the hair starts to look alive. It's very cool. Anyway, hair cap, hair mitt, blobs, hairbrush. Hey, Foxy's here. Hello, hello. Can I use the hairbrush from my bathroom? No. Alrighty. And we continue. So again, we're going to take the blobs that we have and then draw a big blob on it. You want it to be like roughly the same size, but it doesn't super matter because we're gonna keep all of the same pieces still. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna subdivide a few times, now use Move Topological, and then make it pretty. Because those little wispy pieces are what really sell it and makes it look just fantastic. I have so many people that watch my streams all the time, regular peasants, and you guys are like nice, so I don't have to explain everything. I'm gonna do it anyway. If anyone's like, this is not gonna 3D print, you're my second favorite. First is how to make money. Take your move brush and back face mask, and then just bam, add thickness to that. Bam, prints fantastic, even at teeny tiny scale. Also, if it doesn't want to print, it'll just round off. It's really not a big deal. Alrighty. If you're wondering, like, well, what do we do with this hair blob underneath? What you want to do is subdivide a few times, grab that delicious slash brush, which hides in Lightbox. You can also use the damp sander brush if you just want to look slightly worse. I don't know, different strokes, different folks. Make sure Lazy Mouse is enabled, and then subdivide this like a lot more than you'd expect. And then just detail it. Remember that this is directional, so just keep that in mind. Probably best if you have the mesh visible so you can see what you're detailing. Crazy. I'm actually gonna hide this hair chunk that's sitting on top too. And then lower the intensity a bit. There we go. There we go. So again, it's coming from this section on her head. So that's where I want these all to kind of group together. You'll notice that I redo and undo strokes a lot. I'm not just doing it over and over again hoping that one looks good. I'm actually experimenting to see how the brush is behaving, and then two, where the detail will look most balanced. always surprised that you need to detail the underside of a hair chunk. It's like, oh, who's gonna see that? You'd be surprised. It shows up more than you think. So make sure you throw a couple bits of detail. This is where you can go a little ham. This is where you're creating that illusion of individual hair strands despite just having like some creases on her head. So this isn't looking as messy as the original character because she has like those shorter sections, right? You can absolutely create that still. I just wanted to do that entire chunk right there so you guys could kind of see the whole process. And now, this is where I love using the transpose line. Just kind of click and drag from the top to the end, and then you can start moving it around and then shaping it, and this makes it really easy to layer. There is no secret to doing good looking hair fast. So don't look for, there just isn't. Instead, make a hairstyle that looks really good and that is versatile. So that means I have it all broken down to these like individual chunks and stuff, right? And that's really cool because then I can make new hairstyles from this. That's gonna be the way to go. Don't just make one hairstyle quickly and poorly. It will show. I'm curious how I'm gonna get these little sections here. Because her hair is so like messy, but like shiny and pretty. That's where I'm gonna need to really pay attention to the actual hair itself, which I kind of don't want to do right now, but you get the general idea. When I go and do that, it will look more like, it will look more like following these individual pieces here, but still big picture. You know that thing I told you not to do earlier? This is like when you can start to do that thing. That's what I'm saying. Kind of just playing with this right now to see like, how is that gonna end up working out? Something else you can do is just draw like a straight line with your hairbrush and then use a bend curve modifier. Up to you. I kind of just want this to look a little bit messier and I don't know how I'm supposed to do that. I think it's just gonna take a long time. I think that's the only way that's gonna work. Yeah, that's the answer. I just wanted to check. I'm like, is that really how it's gonna go down? Yeah, okay. Then I will do that later. You guys crack me up. Let's detail this breastplate really quick because it's not going to take very long and that will kind of wrap up the end of the stream here. I really feel like it's a Friday. I keep wanting to ask you guys like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? But it's just literally not what's happening. I'm going to frame the mesh and then add a couple creases here. Because I see like the boob lines right here. I can draw those on myself or I can have this do it for me. So I'll do that, frame mesh, and then curve tube. I want to make sure that I don't have this tapering anymore though. I mean, it might look cool. We'll see what it looks like. If I don't like it, I'll turn it off. Yeah, it looks weird. We're gonna go here, turn off size, and now it won't taper. It's gonna completely ignore this. And if you don't trust it, you can just click reset. There you go. All right, cool. Those are a little bulky, but rather than be a little bit bulky and then deflate them, than the other way around. Hey, I thought I creased you. What are you doing? There we go. There we go. And then it has a much, like, it's very, like, suction cup boob armor. I don't have a whole lot look like that. I do like how this one looks a lot, so I'm gonna kind of create that effect with, you guessed it, the slash brush. It's my favorite brush. I don't want to just look like cups, so I'll probably add some other intentional design element here. Boobs are kind of hard because, you know, they curve and then your torso also curves. I find turning off perspective can make it easier because it'll show like more of the material or the body. It won't bend it as much. There we go. And then we definitely want these creases on the side, which will imply like how this can possibly be taken on and off. And to be clear, I like adding details that make it look functional because they're more details. I don't care if things are possible or not. Just to be clear, I am not an armor purist. It just, does it look cool? Great, let's go. Faint says, undead lady with big breastplate. It is for flesh or the extra space for storing eyes and faces. Absolutely. She is spooky. Who knows what's in there? I will need to merge all of this down. Kind of like reshape her breast a little bit. That's fine. Okay. So I'm adding another crease right here to kind of make it look a little more structured and intentional. And then I might add some like rivets to that later. We'll see. I also like using this lash brush because it just makes things easier to use, like intentionally grab your move brush. It's kind of like a construction line. Emperor says, I too store extra eye snacks in my breastplate. Oh, ridiculous sounding stream. Very good. I'm glad you guys are having fun. I am having some fun. No, just kidding. All right, let's go ahead and make the collar a thing because that's a big part of the breastplate as well. This is interesting because it kind of has like a layered effect. There, that should get that effect. Let's go ahead and use a crease brush, subdivide a few times, see how that's looking. Yeah, it's cool. All right, and then I'm gonna do the same thing I did earlier, which is using the stroke function, the frame mesh, to throw this curved tube border on everything. I'm also a huge fan of doing that because it just makes stuff paint really nicely. Is this a PC or a boss? This is a player character. This is actually Jack's character. I'm going to merge the breastplate down with the decorative line so I can more easily shape this whole thing. Looks pretty good from the side. Remember, boobs are teardrop shaped. My goodness, these are high up on her chest, aren't they? I do like that though, because it leaves more room for her ridiculous, cool stomach mouth. We'll do the same thing with the collar as well. Get this merged down. And then this also has this really cool, like, subtle filigree pattern on here, so I'm not going to forget about that. I am going over this afterwards with a orb flatten brush to kind of add some, like, do you guys see this texture that's showing up here? It's kind of like dented look. I'm gonna do that over this entire thing as well. just to make it look even more cool. I want to throw that on there really quick so Jack can see that before the stream is over. Obviously it's not going to look stupid, but it's going to have that really nice like hammered texture on here. It's going to look really cool. I said, wait, how do you do the edge frame thing? Make sure you either have a like clear border on your mesh, which can either mean it's single-sided, or have it creased, and then go to stroke, frame mesh. And if you click on the dotted line that appears afterwards with a curve brush, it'll snap to it. It's very cool. All right, I think that is everything for today's stream. Made some pretty damn good progress here. She's a pretty complicated model, so I'm just happy I got really anything done. Let's take a little screenshot. And then I will see you guys again tomorrow. All right. And smile. Excellent. I could easily spend a whole other stream on this character. She's so cool. I might. This is fun. And if you were really inspired by this character and now you want to make your own super cool model, you can do that. Let me go ahead and decimate this, and then I'll be sharing all the files I have for this so far with my students. Obviously, the character itself is not finished. If you want this 3D printable model, and it's gonna look, again, amazing. And it'll come with 2 different poses too. That will be on Patreon probably next Monday. I'm merging down all of the hair blobs for those that want to play with hair blobs, make their own. And then we have fan brace. Just have her left. Yes. There we go. Cauldron, right. Cauldron, left. These are named correctly about half the time. Take it or leave it. All right, these are named good enough for you guys to be able to tell what the heck is going on. I like it. I'll call this Undead Fighter, and today's date is October 14th. It's one of my best friend's birthdays today. I'll make sure to text her. All right, y'all. That's a wrap, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay? If you're a student, check out our Discord to get the files for this and play with them yourselves. If you want to become a student, check out the description. It's $1 a day. It's super freaking worth it. I will teach you how to use ZBrush. You just need ZBrush and a tablet. So yeah. Alrighty. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.